Can you cheat the lottery? You can try, but just know every single person who thought they were the smartest in the room ended up getting caught. So, how exactly did they try to outsmart the system? Let's take a look at the dumbest ways people tried to cheat the lottery and got caught red-handed. Number 10. The Scratch Scam. This scam started with a $15 scratch ticket. One guy in Minnesota thought he won, walked up to claim it, and was told that his ticket was already redeemed. That's weird. So he took it to the Minnesota State Lottery. He was right to question it because that one complaint opened up a whole mess. Turns out the ticket came from the Casablanca market in Hopkins. So the lottery officials started digging into that store's scratch ticket activity. What they found was a bunch of weird manual validations that weren't adding up. Something fishy was definitely going on. You see, investigators suspected something called micro-scratching. It's when someone slightly scratches off just enough of the ticket to peek at the code underneath, without making it obvious the ticket was tampered with. If that code says it's a winner, they quietly claim the prize for themselves. And if it's not, it goes back on the shelf like nothing happened. To prove it, the Department of Public Safety sent in an undercover agent. She bought tickets again and again while her team watched closely. And sure enough, they spotted one man, Murad Zahi, a 34-year-old working the counter. They saw him on camera slipping away with tickets and coming back a few minutes later, like he was checking them in secret. That was all the proof the police needed. They searched the place, and Murad was charged with multiple counts of lottery fraud. All that risk for what? A few winning tickets? Honestly, if you have to use a microscope to win the lottery, maybe it's time to pick a different career. Number 9. The late-night ticket fail. Next, we have the story of Leandra Williams from Illinois, who thought she had an excellent plan to cheat the system. She did have a plan, but it was a bad one. She wanted a piece of the record-breaking $656 million Mega Millions jackpot, but instead of buying a legit ticket, she thought she could fake her way into becoming a millionaire. So this is what she did. On March 30th, 2012, the winning numbers were announced. 8 minutes later, Leandra bought a ticket online with those exact numbers. Then a few days later, she strolled into the lottery office in Des Plaines to claim her prize. Now, lottery officials are not clueless. They already knew only 3 winning tickets existed, and none were sold anywhere near Chicago. So when this random ticket suddenly showed up, it was really suspicious. Still, Leandra was confident. She even brought an email receipt to back up her claim. However, that email was edited quite poorly. Officials played along, asked her to fill out the standard claim form, and told her they would verify it in Springfield. But the truth is, they were not verifying anything. They were building a case. And the funny part is that this was not her first shady move. She had already been charged earlier that week for lying in a wire fraud case. So by the time she showed up again on April 16th to check on her winnings, police were waiting for her. They arrested her on the spot for theft and forgery. This means trying to claim a jackpot with a post-draw ticket is not a clever thing to do in any way. And if your scam depends on nobody checking the timestamp, maybe don't do it at the lottery office. As compared to Leandra, the next 2 scammers came up with a pretty clever plan, but they were still caught. Number 8. Clever partners. Jason Wedderburn and Kayan Kitson thought to play the people instead of the lottery. From Jamaica, they ran a scam that tricked people into thinking they had won a big lottery prize. But to actually get the money, the victims were told they had to pay taxes or fees first. It sounded so obvious that it was a scam, but the sad part is, it worked on people. One man in Massachusetts sent over $325,000, thinking he was about to become a millionaire. Others lost tens of thousands. Most of them were elderly. Jason and Kayan targeted them because they were more likely to trust what they were told. They were running a whole system. The money would land in accounts they controlled, then get passed around to others in their group, both in the US and back in Jamaica. They planned every step carefully. Over time, they collected more than $700,000. But scams like this don't last forever. In August 2020, the whole plan was exposed. They were arrested in Florida and have been behind bars ever since. The thing is, a lot of people still fall for scams like this, especially when they're scared or hopeful. But the truth is simple. Real lotteries don't ask for money up front. If someone says you have to pay to get your prize, it's a trap. Well, these 2 friends scammed others. The next lottery winner was scammed by her own husband. Number 7. Scammer husband. In 2012, Michaela Fields thought her life had just changed forever. She was a community college student from North Carolina who showed up to claim a $1 million lottery win. At first, everything seemed legit. She had big plans. She thought of buying a house, a car, and finishing nursing school. But that dream didn't last long. Turns out, the winning ticket came from Kangaroo Express, where Michaela's husband, Sean Mayweather, worked. Sean was accused of stealing the ticket from the store. So instead of just a lucky break, this became a full-on lottery fraud case. Investigators from the North Carolina Education Lottery caught on to the situation fast, and it wasn't long before the local police in Oak Island got involved. Sean ended up charged with larceny and possessing stolen property, worth over $100,000. Michaela, though, didn't face any charges herself, but still, the whole thing made people suspicious of her involvement. Either way, the money didn't stay in their hands for long. The lottery took it back and decided to return the prize money to the pool for a future draw. No one knows if they got to spend a single dollar before it all came crashing down. While Sean tried to cheat the system once and got caught, the next winner went years before getting caught. Number 6. Inside Job. This is the infamous story of Eddie Tipton. Eddie wasn't just some random guy trying to cheat the lottery. He was the actual information security director for the Multi-State Lottery Association. The man literally helped run the system and ended up scamming it. While he was supposed to be protecting lottery software, Eddie was secretly planting malicious code into the system. This code let him predict the winning numbers, but only on certain dates and only under very specific conditions. That way, it wouldn't be too obvious. It was super smart, but also super illegal. From around 2005 to 2011, Eddie and a small circle of friends and family used this setup to win jackpots in Colorado, Wisconsin, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Iowa. In total, the scam pulled in over $24 million, and for a while, no one noticed a thing. Then came 2010. A winning hot lotto ticket worth $16.5 million was purchased at a gas station in Iowa. But when someone finally came forward to claim it, the story didn't add up. The person didn't want to reveal their identity, and that raised red flags. Eventually, investigators pulled surveillance footage, and there was Eddie, buying the ticket himself. Imagine rigging the whole system and still being caught on camera. That's what cracked the case. In 2015, Eddie was arrested. During the investigation, he admitted everything. He tried to act like he was doing it just once, but the paper trail said otherwise. He was found guilty of fraud and sentenced to 25 years in prison. It was one of the biggest lottery scams ever, and it didn't take a genius to win, just someone on the inside who got way too confident. Number 5. Loyal friends. Now, not every scam involves hacking software or forging documents. Some people just tried to play the system quietly. This was the case with Sherman Friend, a 70-year-old from McClellandstown, Pennsylvania, who thought he had found a clever little loophole. In December 2009, Sherman bought over 200 lottery tickets for the same draw, all with the same 4-digit number, 1127. When those numbers actually came up in the Big 4 midday draw, every single one of those tickets hit. That day, he won 208 times. That means a total of $520,000 in prize money. Now, instead of cashing in those tickets himself, Sherman got over 20 of his friends to do it for him. Each person would claim a ticket and get about $250, while the rest of the winnings made their way back to Sherman. It was his way of avoiding taxes and flying under the radar. But moving that much money around through random people is not exactly so simple and easy. Eventually, the IRS noticed the strange activity. There were just too many people cashing tickets with the same numbers, all at once, and all somehow tied back to one quiet man in McClellandstown. Authorities traced the whole operation back to Sherman. What he thought was a clever tax dodge was actually federal fraud. He ended up facing serious charges and the risk of jail time. Number 4. The rigging scandal. Just when you think you have heard every kind of lottery scam, along comes Edward Putman with one of the riskiest plans yet. It all started with Giles Nibbs, an employee at Camelot, the company that runs the UK lottery. Giles had access to internal systems, and during his work, he noticed that a winning ticket worth £2.5 million had never been claimed. That's over $3 million US. Instead of reporting it, Giles passed the details to his friend Edward Putman. Edward forged a replica of the winning ticket, just close close enough to get past inspection and submitted it right before the claim deadline. And unbelievably, it worked. Camelot approved the payout, and Edward cashed in like it was a normal win. But the problem with pulling off a scam like that is keeping everyone happy. Giles didn't feel like he got his fair share. He started telling this to people. Then the pressure got to him, and tragically, Giles took his own life in 2015. But his confessions didn't go unheard. Once authorities picked up the trail, they dug deeper and found that Edward's win wasn't so clean after all. By 2019, the whole plan was exposed. The forged ticket, the insider help, and the rumors led to Edward being found guilty of fraud and sentenced to 9 years in prison. Number 3. Fake ticket. Some scams are clever and all planned out, and then there is the case of Jackie Parsley II and Ashley Campbell Parsley, who thought they could quietly fake their way to a lottery win. Instead of buying a legit ticket and hoping for luck, they decided to cheat the system by manipulating a lottery ticket to make it look like a winner. Not only that, after trying to cash in the fake ticket, they also tried to cover their tracks by laundering the money. So they were doing 2 crimes at once, using a fake ticket and laundering money. Unfortunately for them, the Indiana court system caught on. After a 3-day trial, the whole plan was exposed. They were both found guilty not just of trying to pass the false ticket, but also of theft and 5 counts of money laundering. Their plan wasn't clever after all. It was clumsy, obvious, and it didn't take long to fall apart. All that effort for just a few quick dollars and a criminal record. If they thought no one would notice, they were very wrong. The truth came out, and so did the consequences. Because in the end, fake tickets only win you a guaranteed seat in court. While Jackie and Ashley were dumb, the next 2 winners were even dumber. Number 2. Dumb trick. In 2010, Otis Latham and Russell Sparks from Mississippi thought they had a foolproof plan. They grabbed a losing scratch-off ticket and literally glued the winning numbers from a different ticket right on top. Then they signed it, marched into the lottery office, and tried to claim a $100,000 prize. It didn't take a forensic lab to figure this one out. The ticket looked tampered with from the start. The glue wasn't even subtle. Lottery officials spotted it right away and called the police. Both men were arrested and charged for trying to pass a fake ticket and conspiring together to commit fraud. Latham made it worse by giving false information to law enforcement, which added another charge to his name. So now they were in even deeper. Latham's bond was set at $51,000, while Sparks got a $20,000 bond. If they thought this would work, it's hard to tell whether they believed in luck or just didn't think it through. Either way, gluing numbers onto a scratch-off is just a desperate and stupid act. Number 1. The clever hacker. Now, some people cheat the lottery with fake tickets or insider info, but Alex from St. Petersburg took things to another level. He was a skilled mathematician and programmer, but he got bored running his own business. What he really wanted was a challenge, so Alex turned his attention to casino slot machines. He knew something most people didn't, that slot machines use pseudo-random number generators. They look random, but they are not truly unpredictable. With enough data, patterns show up, and Alex knew how to find them. He built software that could analyze slot machine behavior, specifically the timing between spins, and predict when a machine was about to hit. But he needed people on the ground, so he recruited a team of agents across the world, in Macau, Peru, Poland, and even the US. These agents would quietly record videos of the machines, send footage back to Alex's team, and wait. Once the software identified a payout window, Alex would send them a countdown. At the exact moment, they hit the spin button and the machine paid up, again and again. At its peak, he was making $250,000 per week from this operation. Alex wasn't even touching the machines. He was running the whole thing from a laptop. He claimed he was just leveling the playing field and that he was just beating the house at its own game. But in 2014, 4 of his agents got caught in the US. Instead of going underground, Alex made a move that casinos didn't expect. He started working with slot machine companies. He would use his skills to fix their weaknesses, for a huge fee, of course. If you're done listening about scammers and schemers and want to see real lottery winners, then check out the next video. We'll show you real jackpot winners and how they actually spend their millions. Let's go!